What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today, we're going all the way back to 2003, which, if you didn't know, is the year that Lewis and I graduated high school. So it's our 20-year reunion this year. So we thought it'd be fun to talk about the albums that we were into our senior year and see how they aged, and just see what other discussion comes up when we talk about these. And also, we are doing a 2003 draft at the end of the month. So this is your opportunity. If we miss something, if we don't discuss something, please leave it in the comments, or even better is our Discord, because we're talking about it over there. I'll leave a link down below. And Lewis, before we start talking about our first album here, any memories you would like to share about our times in 2003?
A lot of it's a haze now, man. We're pretty old.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have that. I did not have a bad time in high school, but I don't think I really have this nostalgia for it. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty happy it's over. But musically, it was awesome. We were going to shows all of the time, and it kept us busy for sure, and got us into some trouble as well. So I can't argue. I think I kind of hate that you're reminding me of how old we are with this, but I think it'll be fun when we do the draft and we have people on there who were like 10 years old when these came out. So that'll be fun. So I don't know.
Yeah. For me, it's all good times. Sometimes I miss the days. Other times I'm like, being an adult's pretty damn cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right. So I've got a list of like 70 albums here. We're not going to talk about all of them. I'm just going to rattle off 5 or so. And if anything comes to mind, we're going to talk about it. So 2003, we're going to kick it off. We're going alphabetical. We've got AFI with Sing the Sorrow. We've got Against Me, As the Eternal Cowboy. Alkaline Trio, Good Morning. American Hi-Fi, Art of Losing. And Anti-Flag, The Terror State, who we're probably going to skip over them now that we know this is post Anti-Flag breakup, so we'll skip that. But any of the others, Lewis, sticking out to you? Any memories?
Oh, for sure. Lots of great memories with Turncoat. I'm just kidding. One of the ones jumping out to me especially is Alkaline Trio. We've had Alkaline Trio, Good Morning. Screwing me up with the song names there. But I actually think this was the first Alkaline Trio album I heard when it was new, like it just come out, because I got into them a little bit after From Here to the Infirmary. So definitely one that stuck out to me. Love this album. Obviously has a very distinct sound. Matt Skiba sounds like he has half his voice in it, but it's awesome, very gravelly. Big fan of this record. I think you're really fond of this one as well, right, John?
Yeah, there's some heavy hitters right off the bat. Good Morning, definitely. Sing the Sorrow, I still think is a great album. We were talking before how like AFI kind of blew up while we were in high school, and then this was like a whole different level when Sing the Sorrow came out. And I also like the Art of Losing album by American Hi-Fi. I mean, there's no Flavor of the Week on here, but the title track is pretty good. These guys have always been a fun, like, punk adjacent novelty band. And you got Against Me here too. So I know you like this.
I don't want to get our punk card rescinded here. So this was an album that I bought new as well. I think you can be a witness for me, John. I was early on in the Against Me train. I had, Reinventing Axl Rose pretty right after it came out, I think. So I was a huge fan of that record. This definitely had a different sound, a lot more polish, but I really enjoy this record too. I felt it was a little bit of a downgrade from Reinventing Axl Rose, but I could totally see why a lot of people think it's like a major upgrade as well. So.
All right, we'll hit the next 5 here. We've got the Ataris, their major label debut, So Long Astoria. We've got Billy Talent in their self-titled album. Blink-182's untitled album, Bouncing Souls, Anchors Away, and brand new, another band that's canceled now, Deja Entendu. So out of those, Lewis, so anything you want to talk about?
Really, I guess we should mention Blink and Bouncing Souls, at least from my perspective. Those are probably the 2 bigger ones on here. So the Bouncing Souls, this was the follow-up to like what I felt like was our record, right? How I Spent My Summer Vacation. That one really reminds me of high school. But I really like this record too. I think those two jockey fourth as the best Bouncing Souls records. These are fantastic records by them. And I think with Blink-182, you're going to have a lot more to say. I was disappointed by this record, but I've grown to like it a little bit more over the years. So interested to see what your initial thoughts were that album in 2003.
Yeah, I remember I mentioned in the Blink video that I got it the day it came out. And initially I was disappointed because it wasn't really what I was looking for in a Blink album. I like you, I've learned to appreciate it, but it's still not one of my favorite Blink albums. It's like the last good one, I think. But yeah, it's not my favorite at all. But I think Anchors Away, we're going to mention our favorites at the end, but Anchors Away is going to be in my top 5 of 2003. I think this is right there with How I Spent My Summer Vacation, so I agree with you there. And also want to shout out So Long Astoria, which is like just full of summer anthems. I mentioned it in a few videos. I love that album. I think it's flawless pop punk summer road trip record. So I put Boys of Summer on here, but I think they played In This Diary at our graduation. So either one of those would have been fine. So we'll move along here. Next 5, we've got the Bronx with their first self-titled album, which I remember was pretty big. Catch-22, one of your worst albums by your favorite band, Dinosaur Sounds. Coheed and Cambria, In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth. Death by Stereo, Into the Valley of Death. And the Distillers, Coral Fang. Any of these sticking out?
Well, you mentioned the one from Catch-22, so I don't want to go and beat them down really hard. 2 things, I guess, for these set. The Bronx, and you were right, it was a big deal because I think we saw them open up for like every band in New York City that year, right? Like they were always playing. Like I felt like I saw them probably like 4 or 5 times, like in a sequence of a couple months. So huge record. I liked it a lot. It was good. It kind of fell off on the Bronx, but that album was definitely a special spot. And I guess I'll throw a shout out to the Distillers because I like this record. And I know a lot of people hate it. Yeah. I mean, I like 16 Death House and stuff, but this album is pretty decent, I think. This was one that I didn't like in the beginning either. It definitely has grown on me over the years, but I can throw this one into the mix. So what do you got on these ones?
Yeah, I think that Coral Fang is my favorite Distillers album. I just love the sound of that record. After you talked about Dinosaur Sounds, I went back and listened, and this song Wine-Stained Lips is actually pretty good. The rest, not so much, but I think right now we've gotten like 2 albums with the Bronx and Blink-182 that kind of show the direction that punk was going, like either the heavy stuff or kind of the emo tinged. Like to me, 2003 is like that real turning point where we're getting out of Epitaph, right? Drive Through kind of fell off, and then this is kind of the new direction it took from 2003 to like 2006. So interesting mix here. I never really got into Coheed, never really got into Death by Stereo. So those are the 2 I would shout out there. So we'll move to our next batch here. We got Down by Law, Windward Tides and Wayward Sails. We've got the Dropkick Murphys, Blackout, Every Time I Die, Hot Damn, Fall Out Boy, their first full length. We got Take This to Your Grave, and Flogging Molly, Drunken Lullabies. So we've got Dropkick and Flogging Molly here too. Like, is Flogging Molly's Boston too, right?
I don't know. The guy's Irish.
You got to assume, right?
Yeah, he's from Ireland. I don't know if I ever know where they were from. I probably should know that. Yeah. We'll probably say they're from New Jersey. So that's our thing. So
let's see. I'm going to find out. I think you're right.
They're a transatlantic band. So from multiple countries is always
whatever. All right. Well, whatever. They're from somewhere, but they remind me of Dropkick. But any of these other ones you want to shout out?
I like that Drunken Lullabies album quite a bit. I think I like Swagger better, but this was a suitable follow-up. You know me, I was always more of a Flog and Molly guy than a Dropkick guy.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think you probably remember too, Dropkick, we saw them a ton of times, I think, during this period of time. They were always playing. Oh my God. So kind of forced the Dropkick Murphys down my throat, but they're good. That's probably the only things I have to say about these ones.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Dropkick fan either, but I feel like everybody had that blackout picture disc. I think you have it too, right?
I have it over right behind me. Yeah.
Down by Law, it's a decent album, and then Hot Damn, I used to really like this album when it came out, and Every Time I Die is one of those bands I've been like into and out of over the years, but I think this is a solid hardcore punk album. So that's it. I mean, I've never been a huge Fall Out Boy fan, and I think Cork Tree is a better album than this one, so we can move along, and we've got an album you just used on Off the Radar. We got F-, Wake Up Screaming, Frenzel Ram, Sans Souci. We got From Ashes Rise, Nightmares, Gob, Foot and Mouth Disease, and Good Riddance, Bound by Ties of Blood and Affection. Some good ones here. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I already called out Off the Radar for Sweat and Blood. I love this record. I love all F-'s stuff. Yeah. Even the stuff that's almost unlistenable, because I just kind of enjoy what they were doing. I enjoy the pace, the energy, everything about it, and I think Sweat and Blood's a really good final album from them. So if you want to check that out, it's in one of the Off the Radars where we go a little bit deeper, but great record. And I think the only other one that I would have a thought about is probably Bound by Ties of Blood and Affection, which I know a lot of people, right? We talked about this during the Good Riddance. This is like a lot of people's like top tier Good Riddance record, right? I feel like it gets really high praise, but it's good, but it just kind of, it didn't really make a huge splash with me in 2003, and it still hasn't. So good record. I enjoy it. Probably don't go back to it as much as the other ones, but I don't really have much to say about anything else though, man.
Yeah. So Sans Souci, awesome album. I put it below the last 3 Frenzel albums. So I think I had it in my A tier. Really good one. I think, Russell Crowe's Band is an awesome song. We got Punisher on here. I like this From Ashes Rise album, good hardcore punk. But Lewis, I love Gob. This is I think this was their American major label debut. Foot and Mouth Disease. This one's awesome. Lemonade is good. I've Been Up These Steps. Ming Tran, which was on the FUEP a little before this. We've got Give Up the Grudge. I Hear You Calling, the new version. I love this album. This is like close to top 5, I think, of the year. And then Good Riddance. Like we said, this album in particular, strong throughout, just maybe lacking standouts. I think that's how we all felt for Bound by Ties. But
that Gob record is really good.
Yeah,
I kind of forgot. I kind of just it fell off in my mind until you showed me the track list. I remember this one. So,
and what sucks, Gob just put out like a little, I think it's a box set. It was 5 albums and it's sold out in the same day. That's like one I would have picked up. So, hoping some copies turn up somewhere. Give up the grudge, that is what you gotta take, everybody. But moving along, this next batch, this has you all over it, man. Look at this next thing here. We got Kid Dynamite, Cheap Shot Youth Anthems, Kill Your Idols, No Gimmicks Needed, Lagwagon Blaze, Lawrence Arms, Greatest Story Ever Told, and Less Than Jake Anthem. So if you want to fill this one out, there's some bangers in here.
I'll let you take Anthem, and pretty much everything you say about that record, I'm going to feel the same way. So I think we both think that's an incredible record, but I mean, out of the rest here, I mean, I like Kill Your Idols. I like Kid Dynamite, not two I would really note, and I like other Kill Your Idols better. Lagwagon Blaze, very good record. I think we both feel like this is really strong. Is Dinner and a Movie on this one? Or what is that? Yeah, oh God, I love that one. And I love Lullaby. This is a great record. So this one really sticks with me. But going back to the main list, I wanted to talk about the Lawrence Arms record. So I think I ranked this one a little bit lower than a couple of the other Lawrence Arms, but I know this is well regarded as like one of their top tier records. It's very good. It's one that I didn't get into later. I would have loved if I had heard this in 2003 when it was new, because I would have got into Lawrence Arms like probably 4 years earlier than I did, or whatever, 3 or 4 years. So I think we got it. I think I saw them live for the first time like right after this album came out, or right before Oh Calcutta. So really good records. But John, I will let you talk about Less Than Jake because we just saw them and they sounded as good as ever, I think. So
Yeah, I mean, and for the record, Blaze is my favorite Lagwagon album. So I will say that. But yeah, we got Anthem here, which is like on any given day, like Rockview is my favorite Less Than Jake record. But this, I remember, I think I said this in the Less Than Jake video. I had pre-ordered this. I still have the CD that came signed, but it was late from Interpunk. Of course, everybody knows Interpunk, notoriously late for everything. So I had driven up to the mall to get this on release day, and I was listening to this last night when I was putting the list together, and it still like holds up to this day. Like I feel like I'm an outlier here, but I've never been a huge Science of Selling Yourself Short fan. My favorite songs on here have always been the Welcome to the New South, Look What Happened, Motown, and for some reason I thought She's Gonna Break Soon was further up on the list, but that's the radio single. Well, this whole thing is real good. So Anthem, and then Cheap Shot Youth Anthem. This is like a compilation album by Kid Dynamite, but Heart Attack is like one of their biggest songs. And yeah, this is worth listening to. I mean, it's a comp album, but it's still gotta love some Kid Dynamite. She's gonna break soon, gonna break soon, gonna break soon. She's gonna break soon, gonna break. So next batch, we've got The Living End, Modern Artillery, Mad Caddies, Just One More, The Matches, Yvonne Dahl, Killed the Locals, Maxine, self-titled album, and Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, Take a Break. Any of these stand out?
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, right? Just One More is amazing, right? So this is the best Mad Caddies record, in my opinion. I don't think there's a bad song on this record, right? Like, I mean, it's just nonstop fantastic all throughout. I mean, talk about an exponential jump in quality of a band. Like, I like the other Mad Caddies records, like they're fine, but this felt like next level. And I think we got this when it was new. So yeah, no complaints. Fantastic record.
That's when we do Mad Caddies eventually, that's going to be my S tier. Easy all day long. It's phenomenal. That was like another one for the summer. You can't get a better summer road trip record. The rest of these, I mean, I had this Matches record. They had a big hype train when they came out. I think it's decent. I don't know if I've listened to this Maxine record, but the Me First, Take a Break. I remember listening to this quite a bit too. Was this the 80s song?
It's R&B.
R&B. Yeah, there's some good songs. Rest in Peace, Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You. We've got Crazy, I'll Be There. This is a good one. I think this is my favorite Me First. So yeah, Take a Break. Oh yeah, life goes by so damn quickly for me. We'll move along to the next batch. We've got Mess to their self-titled album. We've got the Methadones, Career Objective. Long Island's The Movie Life, 40 Hour Train to Penn. Much the Same, their first album, Quitters Never Win. And we've got MXPX, Before, Everything, and After. Lewis, I don't know if any of these stick out.
This is your five. You talk about these ones.
All right. So the Mess self-titled, I could take it or leave it. I think the previous two are better. Rooftops is a decent song. Methadone's Career Objective is awesome. I think, no, not Methadones. The Dopamines are working on an album, but I love this Methadones record. Movie Life is one of my favorite New York bands. 40 Hour Train is the album they put out like either right before or right after they broke up. But I think I've got like almost every song in here pinned. I love this record. Much the Same, Quitters Never Win, classic skate punk album. And Before, Everything, and After, I stuck up for it in the MXPX video. People hate on this album, but there's some good songs like The Capitol and Brokenhearted sprinkled throughout. It's a good classic MXPX album. But that's all I'll say about those. We've got some more Lewis core coming up, it looks like. We've got No Effects, Warren Arism, None More Black, File Under Black, The Offspring, Splinter, Paint It Black, CVA, and Pennywise, From the Ashes. Another stacked one, man. What ones are you gonna pick out from here?
Oh, well, I'm going with From the Ashes, right? So, really great album. I think we were worried how they were going to probably follow up. Oh my God, what's the name of the record? I'm blanking on it right now. The Red. Land of the Free. I was blanking on it. I'm like straight ahead, Land of the Free. So Land of the Free was such an influential record for us. I remember listening to it on your Discman on the school bus, like so. So pretty awesome. I felt like this album didn't fail. We got to see them a ton, I think, on the Warped Tour like every year. Mm-hmm. So really important. The only other one I really want to say anything about, because I have a memory about it, is the NoFX War and Errorism. I think the day it came out, Brian and I went out of school, slipped out, and we went to Best Buy and we bought it, or it might have been Media Play, actually. Yep, so it's probably Media Play. Bought the record, stopped at Wendy's, and just listened to this whole thing, like skipping all of our afternoon classes. And this was a really good record as well. So,
yeah, I forget it. We're going to redo NoFX, but I feel like I may have had it in the S tier. Just because it's like, that was our one. That was the one that came out when we were in seniors. So I know we listened to it a ton. No More Black is decent. The Offspring Splinter, I could take it or leave it. It's like a B tier Offspring album. Painted Black, I like Paradise much better than CVA. But I mean, this is still a good, really good hardcore punk album. That's the way to go, Franco, un-American. No way to go, Franco, un-American. But I'll move us along here. Let's see what we got. We got Pinhead, Gunpowder, Compulsive Disclosure. We've got Planet Smashers, Mighty. We got Rancid, another one from your worst albums, Indestructible. Yeah. Randy, Welfare Problems, and Rise Against, Revolutions Per Minute. So some good Lewis core. What are your thoughts?
Some good, yeah. I mean, so yeah, we won't beat on the Rancid one, but I really dislike this record, mostly just for how it disappointed me. Not its overall quality. I think it's probably mediocre, not terrible. I know how you feel about Rise Against, but this record I thought was incredible when it came out. I still think it's really good. I remember I had the Revolutions Per Minute hoodie that had the grenade and the headphones coming up the chest part of it. So this album rocks. And I think this was another band we saw a ton around that period of time. So a lot of nostalgia for this album. I think every song on here all the way through is pretty much a banger. So really good, and definitely a big jump from the Unraveling before it. That's probably my major ones to mention, though.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I like Pin and Gunpowder. Planet Smashers, I've tried to get into multiple times. They're just not my style of ska. I always gravitated more towards sub if I'm listening to that. Randy's a band I've been getting more and more into recently. I think the album's called Randy the Band is really good. This Rise Against album I think is decent. I mean, I know this is like a wrong take, but I like Suffer and The Witness as my favorite. Rise Against the album, eventually we're going to tear them out. People have been asking, so we'll do it eventually. All right. Next batch, man, I'm losing my voice. We've got the Riverdales, Ben Weasel's other band, Phase 3. We've got Rufio. I threw this on here, man. The album's called 1985, so it's on here. We got the RX Bandits, The Resignation, Sick of It All, your favorite band, Life on the Ropes, and we've got Sidewalk Slam, and We Drive. This is another batch, man. I'm not seeing a lot, anything to say.
I got nothing to say, really. I mean, Sick of It All, you know my feelings.
Yeah, out of these, Phase 3 by the Riverdales is a great pop punk album. Rufio is okay. They've always gotten a lot of hype, but I've never been into them. Yeah. Resignation by RX Bandits, kind of like when they went more rock and got rid of a lot of the ska. Sick of It All is Sick of It All. And Sidewalk Slam is decent. I remember I had this album, but it's okay. We were going to do the Tooth and Nail tier list eventually, and I remember I picked out a few songs I did like from this, but it's not one of my favorites. We'll move along here. We've got Slapshot, Digital Warfare, Slick Shoes, Far From Nowhere, Something Corporate North, Squirt Gun, Fade to Bright, Story of the Year, Page Avenue. Lewis, I'm going to do 5 more because I'm not seeing anything that really sticked out there either.
Yeah.
Streetlight, Everything Goes Numb. Stretch Armstrong, Engaged. Strike Anywhere, Exit English. Suicide Machines, Matching Some Gasoline, and Swinging Utters, Dead Flowers, Bottles, Bluegrass. Anything from those 10 you want to talk about?
Well, for sure. I mean, so Suicide, Match Some Gasoline, right?
Yeah,
like
killer.
one of the best killer ska-core records of all time. I didn't give it my S because I do love I love a lot of stuff by the Suicide Machines, but this record was brutal. I had the advertisement artwork that we stole from one of the concerts for years until I think my dad threw it away. But yeah, what a good record. Going back to the list. Oh, well, if we're going to go song, but going back to the list here. I know you're not a huge Streetlight fan, I don't think, but that Everything Goes Numb was a really great record. Our former bassist really got me into this band when we were in a band. So, he was telling me, oh, it's a guy from Catch-22. You got to hear it. It's really good. And yeah, I mean, so this comes out the same year as Dinosaur Sounds, and this just like absolutely destroys Dinosaur Sounds. It's such a better record. So very good record. Streetlight's a very, very good band. And let's see what else we got on the list here. I guess I could mention something about Swingin' Utters. I think that's a pretty good record. It's not my favorite, but it's totally solid. All that I can give is a standout on this one for sure. So, yeah, I don't know. Anything you got to say, John, about the set?
All right, let's see. I remember, man, I do have some memories with this Something Corporate in the last one. I don't really want to admit to it, but there's some really catchy songs on these albums. She's Ohio by Squirt Gun is one of my all-time favorite pop punk songs. I had this in Off the Radar.
Yeah.
Story of the year. I don't know if I've told this story yet, but we saw Story of the Year when they were called Big Blue Monkey opening for Goldfinger, if you remember that. And that was kind of cool. I remember the CD had the guy in the mirror like popping his zit. It was always kind of like gross, but yeah, we saw Big Blue Monkey Story of the Year really early on. I think the album was called Story of the Year.
That is right, yeah.
Other than these, I really like this Swingin' Utters album. That's another one people have been asking us to do. This might be one or two for me. And then, of course, Matches Some Gasoline was in my S tier, I believe, for Suicide Machines.
I think you and Matt had an S tier.
Yeah.
Strike Anywhere is a band that I got into as I got older, by the way. So I think I had all these records and I couldn't connect with them. And then I just listen to them now and they just rock. So it's a band that I've slowly grown to like a lot more over the years.
Yeah. To me, they were always just like an average. I always felt like there were bands that did this style better, but they're good. They're all right. Moving along here, we're almost done. We've got Teenage Bottle Rocket's first album, Another Way. We've got Thrice major label debut, The Artist in the Ambulance. Thursday's major label debut, War All the Time. TSOL, Divided We Stand. Maybe you feature this one, I forget. And 22, Dudes of Hazard. What are your thoughts on this batch?
Well, that said, the TSOL Divided We Stand, I did cover in Off the Radar.
Yeah.
I stand by. This is probably one of their better records. Really enjoyed this one. It was kind of a return to form, solid over a lot of the weird TSOL stuff, I think, that came out, but pretty cool. And what's that joke that Fat Mike made? Even though the guy from Thrice doesn't believe in dinosaurs, is that them? I really like The Artist in the Ambulance. Personally, I still like Thrice. I liked the album before this one. I thought this album rocked too. I saw Thrice play a couple times in 2003, and yeah, they were an awesome band. So those are the ones that jump out to me. Never was a Thursday fan. I know a lot of people think they're like the greatest thing of all time, but not for me. Nothing else to say about the other ones, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care for that Teenage Bottle Rocket record. I think it's probably one of the weakest, aside from the last couple. But yeah, Artist in the Ambulance, this record is awesome. I remember when this came out, I was pretty hooked on it. Lots of bangers on here. And the first two Thrice albums are like all-time greats. Thursday, I think they're from Jersey, too. I could never get into them. It's just not my style. And then 22 put out one of my favorite albums of last year, and Dudes of Hazard is pretty solid as well. So we'll shout them out. Last batch. This is it. So guys, if we don't talk about an album you liked in this last 5 minutes or so, make sure you commented or add it in the Discord. We've got The Unseen Explode, Useless ID, No Vacation from the World, Veneria, Out in the Red, The Weaker Thans, Reconstruction Site, Yellow Card, Ocean Avenue, which I could have sworn was 2004, and Zebrahead, MFZB. So what are your thoughts on this final batch, man?
I'll let you talk about Zebrahead because I assume you have something to say about them. I think what would probably surprise people is that I love The Weaker Thans and I love Reconstruction Site. So this is probably one of my favorite albums from that year. I still love this album. I love it as a concept album. I love it musically. I love everything about it. I got into them because I was a huge Propaganda fan, and then I kind of followed what he did after he left Propaganda, and this album was the first one that I really, really loved. So, yeah, excellent. I don't really have much to say. Not a big Yellow Card fan. That Unseen album was fine. I think we were supposed to open for them when they were touring for this album. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I got sick.
In Connecticut. What was that venue called?
Empress
Ballroom. Yeah, that is true.
I got sick. I had mono and bronchitis at the same time, so I was in not good shape. But the Zebrahead album is pretty good too, but I'm sure you'll have more to say about that one.
Yeah, The Unseen, The Explode's a good album. What is the one after it? I think it's called like State of Discontent. I can't remember either. Useless ID, I like this album too. Or maybe the Useless ID is called State of Discontent. Well, either one. They both have very similar albums that are very good. Veneria, good Euroscape punk band. Weaker Than's not my cup of tea. These final two, Ocean Avenue and MFZB, I have like tons of memories with. We had an Ocean Avenue in New Jersey, so. But I think this is based on the one in Florida, but we got Way Away. The title track, Miles Apart, has always been my favorite. I love the riff and the bridge. Lots of good songs, good memories with this one. And then MFZB, I think this is a reissue. That's why I don't have anything pinned, but this is probably my favorite Zebrahead album. I plan on doing this tier list. Well, actually, Playmate of the Year is probably edges this slightly. But there's a lot of good songs in here. Hello Tomorrow, Into You, Falling Apart is pretty heavy. I like this one, but yeah, this is a great album. I remember I had the yellow cover, which I think was the Fan Club, which was actually called MFZB. So yeah, that is it. So, Lewis, I want to ask, and I don't know if you prepared it in advance, but if you had to pick your top 5, if you want to do 10, by all means, go for it. But top 5 or 10 of the albums that we've gone over, what would it look like?
All right, let's start with 5 and say we do. So, 1 is going to be The Weaker Than's Reconstruction Site, even though you hate them. Love this album. The other one for sure is going to be From the Ashes by Pennywise. I think I'll pick War on Errorism just because it's a standout from the time. Let's do A Match and Some Gasoline as 4. And, oh my God, what could be 5 here?
I'll go nice and slow. Indestructible, right?
Well, no, let's do Anchors Away. Yeah.
Man, we're almost identical. Like, I picked out 5 just before we started. I came up with Anchors Away, Anthem, Blaze, From the Ashes, War and Errorism. So I think we had 3 the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to sub out Weaker Thans and Suicide Machines for Less Than Jake and Lagwagon. But overall, and once we do more of these, like we did 2000, but once we do more of the years, I'd be curious to see a tier list of releases from like 94 through, when did punk really fall off? Like 05, or maybe this was the last really good year to think about
this is the last year I really remember, but 05 might be the last year, but we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. Lewis, I want to show the people who stick around, I want to give them some thanks. And you've got a special little friend over there who who just learned some new tricks. I don't know if he's available right now. If you want to.
Yeah, he's let me move my stuff here. He's laying on the ground, but I'm sure I can get him. So hold on. Come on, buddy. Hey, come on.
So this is
You're fine.
Lewis's cat.
Yeah.
He's very friendly.
Very friendly. He loves treats. All right. So this is Link. Hey, buddy, can you sit? Can you give me paw? Paw? Come on. Oh, now you're not going to do it for the camera?
Camera shot.
Come on.
There
he is. What a good boy. he's still learning, guys. He just taught him. So he's known sit for a while. But let's try one more. Come on. Now he knows what I want. So can you sit? Sit. Come on. Sit. Okay. Give me paw. Give me paw. There's a good boy. All right. He gets his other treat. So eventually we do that without the treats, but you can teach a cat tricks. So there you go, guys. Enjoy yourselves.
He's a good boy. All right. So that is going to wrap us up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I've said a few times, if we missed your album, please leave it down below, or better yet, put it in the Discord. There'll be a link for that. If there's any other years you'd like us to discuss, you can also put that down there. But that's going to do it for now. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you all next time.